அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். அந்தரிக்கு நமஸ்காரம். I am so happy to meet our VIT family members in New Jersey, one of the areas in US where we have a lot of South Indians living here. I am happy that this was able to be managed, arranged. I thank the office bearers, Gauri and others, and also those who are present today with the family. Our family is ever growing, as it was pointed out by Professor Srinivasan. Now we have 4 campuses with 68,000 students. But our family lives in 84 countries. The latest one is Turkey. He was talking about employment opportunity placement. This year, more than 90% of the BTech graduates have been placed already, still going on. 490 companies, both national and international, come for placement. And of course, nowadays the salary is much more than what the professors get after 20-30 years. In fact, I tell them that the professors and fathers or mothers should not be jealous of the sons and daughter because they get more than what they have earning after 20-30 years. That's the kind of opportunity we have. And you are living in a developed country, having come from a developing country. So you have more responsibility than others. Of course, higher education itself gives you a responsibility. You know, I think somebody was mentioning about Vellore district. It's not only Vellore. Previously, the 3 northern districts, North Arcot, South Arcot and Dharmapuri, were most backward, both in education as well as in economy. Of course, in the south we had district like Ramanathan, comparable to us. That's because we didn't have much education. At that time only, Vellore Engineering College was, you know the history. I was a MLA at that time. I entered quite early in politics, and at the time of, at the age of 27, I was elected to Lok Sabha. The first time I was an MP with Anna, the late leader, founder of the DMK party. And second time I was elected to parliament with Kalaignar Karunanidhi. Then after the CMC dispute made me to come out of DMK in 1975, I joined with MGR in DMK. He wanted me to come back to state politics. In 1980, I was elected to the assembly. Of course, after his death, I was with Madam Jayalalitha, I was a minister. When I was an MLA, this was started. In fact, I requested MGR to start a government college in Vellore. I told him that North Arcot, being a big district, we don't have any engineering college. In the entire northern districts, except Hon'ble University, there was no engineering college at all. The entire Tamil Nadu, we had only about 5 or 6 engineering institutions. And the intake was only 2,000 per year. Then MGR understood the problem of students going out of the state. And then he started thinking about self-financing institution. And the first batch, he sanctioned about 10 colleges, Vellore engineering colleges, one among them. Now it is 38 years old. I always remember. In fact, I went for a government college, but he forced me to start one, a private college, because I had no experience in education. I was an advocate by profession. My father was a farmer, my father-in-law was a bus operator, nothing to do with education. But now VIT stands as the best among the private universities in the country. And Now, even though we are number one among the private, there is no university in India which is there in the top 200 of the world. We always feel, not only that for VIT, but all the universities and colleges in the country, unless we prove ourselves and come up in the ranking, India will not be respected. Now we are around 700 to 800 in the world ranking. And our intention is that we should be one among the top universities of the world, at least in the top 200. That's what we are aiming at. You know, I always tell, India should lead the world and VIT should lead India. That's where I want the help of all of you. As it was pointed out by Srinivasan, we call VIT more a family than a university, because I strongly feel that one must be attached to the institution alma mater. That's what I do. The school where I studied, still we are in touch with them. In fact, I tried to help the school. And we passed out of school in 1955. We were about 70 to 80 students then with 2 sections. Now 27 of us have left out. We are in touch with each other. Whenever there is a birthday, I call them. If possible, I go and wish them, or at least on phone I call them, wish them. I feel in the relationship, a human being's relationship, next to the parents, it is friendship is the most important thing in the life. Nothing else you can depend upon. Now there are wife, husband, son, daughter, etc. But sometimes you may not be able to share all your things to the other people. But if you have a true friend, you can share all your secrets, all your whatever you have feeling, etc. That is one thing. The other thing is, there may be good relatives, close relatives. When you go up financially, economically, people will become jealous, generally. But friends do not behave like this. When somebody goes up economically, becomes rich, the friend will be always happy that his friend has gone up. That's the kind of relationship I strongly believe that real friends are necessary in life, and it is an occasion when you have an alumni association, not to make it friends, but something like relatives. Especially when you come away from the country, you may not have relatives here, but you have VIT family members. That's how we insist that not only the alumni should meet, they should come with family, so that they can become close to each other, and it is happening. As I told you, now we have our alumni working in 84 countries. Of course, the maximum number is in US. I think it's around 8,000 now. I hope it will grow. In fact, every year, people are being recruited by the international companies. Our Indian companies are posting them here. That's what is happening. As I told you, we, as a university, is not only for ourselves. Of course, our first priority is family. Then comes the society and the country. We have a responsibility, especially those who have the advantage of having higher education, because it's not all of them get a higher education opportunity to go to college or university. In India, the gross enrollment ratio, GER, what we call GER, or access to higher education, is only 27%. Whereas in all developed countries, it varies from 60% to 100%. US is around 85-90%. And wherever the education goes up, economically it will become a forward country. That's what has happened in all our neighbors. Take for example China, South Korea, Japan. Of course, Singapore is a model. Very small country, but China is comparable to us. That's the only country comparable to us in population. There's about 5 crores more than us. Because they invested in education, gave an opportunity to study, go for higher education to their children. Now they have come up with this. If you want to measure the effect of education, you have to go for GDP and per capita income. Because we always measure the wealth of a country by per capita income and the total GDP. In the total GDP, no doubt we have come up. Now we are almost in the 5th position in the world, next only to US, China, Japan, Germany, and we are there. But in the per capita income, our ranking is 145 or so. That's because of 2 reasons. One is that the population. The second reason is so much inequality in the economy, which is one among the worst in the entire world, because we are unable to give education to all. If there is education, it may not be able to remove inequality, but at least it will reduce inequality. That's where the educated has the responsibility of creating an awareness among the society. I always feel that India is unable to spend or not spending enough on education and health. Any welfare state should spend enough money on education and health. US, even with all the development, they spend more than 5% of GDP on education. Whereas India has never crossed 3% or maximum 3.5%. Even though normally a government is expected to spend 6% of the GDP on education if it has to become a good country for higher education, which is not able to do. So the responsibility of the parents goes up. Wherever the government spends more, the parents will be spending less. But in India, the government spends less and the responsibility of the parents goes up. They will have to spend more. In fact, I have been studying this. Compared to the northern states, the parents in the southern states spend much more, almost double the expenditure on higher education. That's because of the awareness of the southern states. Once we thought northern states are growing. No doubt in population they are much more than us. But in education they are lagging behind, except some few small states. All the major states are lagging behind, like Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, etc. And to give you an exact example, the per capita income of India is about $2,300, the average. If you state-wise, it is all the southern states are much more than $3,000. But if you take the major states, what the economists used to call them Bimaru states, I don't know how many of you are aware of this. Bimaru means Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. These are called Bimaru states. You must be knowing Hindi, but Bimaru means sickness. Because in those days, Turkey used to be called the sick man of Europe. The economists used to call them the bigger states as Bimaru states. Their per capita income is not even 2,000. It is Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh about 1,400, 1,500. UP is $900. Bihar is $700. I am telling you this because those states, they are not concentrating on education. That's why they have less income and also unemployment is much more. You will find those states sending their laborers to the other states for working. And that's why there is every importance must be given for higher education. And VIT, I wanted to be a leader. That's why we admit more children, because the IIT model is there. you have a small number, it will be very big advantage. They will admit to 200, 300 children. Now they have gone up to 500, which is maybe necessary, which may be all right for small countries. If it's something like Sri Lanka or Nepal, etc., but not for India, where we have to admit more children, but at the same time we should be aware of quality. If you take the example of US and China, they admit more students but able to maintain quality. In the top 100 or 200 universities, you will find US is dominating. Next comes 2-3 European countries, and then comes China, Japan and Korea, because they concentrate on education. That's where India is lagging behind. I want VIT to fill up that gap. VIT should be one among the top universities in the US, and I want the support of all our alumni. Without your support, we can never come up. Wherever you are, there are many ways of helping the institution to come up, because once the institution comes up, you will be automatically respected wherever you are, whether you are in the government or in the private sector, wherever you are. That's what has happened to happen. And we are here. In fact, we are going to visit 3 or 4 universities to sign a MOU. And the children from those children who are out of the country, they will get an opportunity in VIT. Especially our children of our alumni will be given preference. Being other things equal, our children will get first priority. Already our those who passed out in the early stages, 80s and early 90s, their children have already started studying, and some of them have already gone out of the institution. I am happy to see that the second generation is already there. And of course, I find some children here who must be all future VITians. Because they can study partly there and partly here. That's what we are arranging, and that's what Srinivasan is doing to get partner universities here. And it will be dual degree or double degree, whatever it is possible. And we would like to get enough professors also from leading universities. Of course, Indians will be easier for them to come and teach for 2-3 months in a year. And even if they are foreigners, I request you to help us in getting more foreign students, and because to get world ranking, it is one among the conditions. You must have more foreign students and foreign professors, publications, faculty-student ratio. It's not easy to get teachers, and especially good teachers. Because I know all the good students, they don't come back for teaching. They go to industry or go outside the country. We are trying to recruit the best among the available. And now the recruitment is going on throughout the year. Previously we used to recruit only once in a year. Then we made it twice a year, once in a semester. Now we said let's go on throughout the year. Whenever we get good teachers, we recruit them. Now we have in Vellore, we have 1,600 teachers. Once I used to know all of them personally. Now it's very difficult to know them, but they are all doing well. It's if the universities comes up, I always feel the responsibility of the teacher is much more than anything else, and I should give the credit to them. And they are able to prepare the students for the world market. That's ultimately our aim, because now our services are required all over the world. There are a number of countries where the population is declining. There are no enough youngsters to work, and this is an opportunity for us to go and capture these places, and that's what I want. It can be done, and especially when somebody is coming up fresh to these countries, you are already there to help them because you have settled down here 10 years, 15 years, etc. So there will not be strangers to these countries, and our old students who are already there, they can help them so that they will not have any problem when they reach these countries. We will get them a job, and whenever they come here, you take care of them so that they will settle down well. And ultimately, I want the entire country to be benefited. You know the aim of VIT, even though it is located in Tamil Nadu, Tamilians never claim that it can be their university, because we don't see caste, religion, language, state. It's all national in character. Now it has become international because we have more than 55 countries, students from 58 countries studying there. We want to increase it so that our students also will have an opportunity to move with them, because ultimately I want them to be ready to serve anywhere in the world. Now we have almost captured or entered all countries except South America. I hope a day will come, then we will send our students to South America. In fact, we are teaching Spanish in VIT. I hope the students will be aware that they will also be able to go and serve in those countries as well. And I would like to request you that you must try to do something for the society back in India and the country to come up, because we have to go a long way to compete with the advanced countries. We are still lagging behind economically, and we have to come up. If you want a country to be called an advanced country, the per capita income should be at least $10,000. Now we are only around 2,200, 2,300, and the income has to go up. The general development has to take place, and ultimately the benefit should come to all. It cannot go to only a few people. That's what is happening in India now. In the year 2000, there were only 9 billionaires in India. Now after 21 years, we have 160 billionaires. I am happy that the billionaires are increasing, but all the money is going to them. And that's not good for any good country, welfare country. We are following the Russian model. Russia is one of the most unequal society, and we are following that way. It cannot happen. Even in US, there is no so much inequality. And we have been talking about socialistic pattern of society for a long time. Ultimately, the solution lies in giving education to all, because nowadays the poor children and the children from the middle class, is not easy for them to go for higher education because they cannot afford to. In fact, I used to think if VIT was there in my days, I would not have entered VIT because my father would not have he would not have been able to pay these fees. Of course, at that time my father was able to send me to Loyola College, where it was difficult for him to spend 60 rupees every month for the hostel, because having from a joint family in a village, in a farmer's family, it's not easy to get money whenever you require. That's the kind of situation at that time. Now, I always feel that education makes a lot of difference in one's life. The family comes up, the society will come up, and ultimately the country will come up. That's where I want VITians to lead, and I thank all of you for your presence here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your impressive speech and very much encouraging this. And I would like to add a few more points. And we are adding more and more university, partner university from US and Canada. And we are going to sign MOU with 4 more universities and during this tour. So we will cross 50 partner universities in North America. So our aim and objective to add now more and more partner universities from Ivy League. So we are now already speaking with Brown University and Columbia University and also Dartmouth. They already started to deliver their lectures to our students. Another day I met one of our professors, partner university professor from University of Saskatchewan. Then we put this notice of circular of online classes from Dartmouth. So he very much excited and appreciated. So now I can understand the standard of VIT. You are aiming to go to the next level.